Viewers who are watching in other areas through our satellite uplink to Bismarck and Minot probably have seen some of the national stories about this flood and may not know some of the details, but this is not a sort of a thing. All these houses are very close to the river, but these houses were protected to 52 feet, which is a pretty good extra distance considering the largest flood ever was in '79 at 48 and 8.1, I believe. And since that time, it was a bad flood. And they put in a diversion around the city. They updated the coulee diversion, which is a coulee that runs through much of the middle of the city, and now it diverts out around town. They felt very confident that they would not have problems with this flood, but unfortunately it went from a 49-foot crest prediction, it jumped up to 49.5, then to 51.5, to 53, and then finally to 54, which the gauge hasn't been working. Maybe we can check lately, but
the latest river level that I saw was 50.9 feet. Again, they are having trouble with the gauge, so
and that
who knows
would be
where the
5
river level
feet
is.
over what was our previous record for.
That was Belmont Road, I do believe, that you just saw.
A lot of people diking in that area to try it, or putting up dikes and putting up sandbags. Amazing how some seem to be high and dry. Maybe that's good news. Obviously, people who may have evacuated, had to evacuate it, might see that their house is still above water.
Cherry Street in Grand Forks.
I believe this is getting into some of the, are we down towards some of the newer sections of town here as we...
It appears so.
Yeah.
Washington Street is coming up.
Oh, I see. Okay, we're moving back across from east to west.
There's Water World.
Yeah, no kidding.
The whole town of Grand Forks is Water World, I guess you could say. We don't mean that in a funny way either, but there is a business called Water World in Grand Forks on the south end of town.
Sometimes levity is needed, but this is just the area to the south. Look at all the water that's still in the fields. Now, some of that is just that just melted to our, and now we can see a little better view of it.
This is the Uland Park softball complex. Those spots, apparently, they must be the softball diamonds.
If I'm not mistaken, it looks like some of those areas would have to be about 4 feet deep there because the...
we're still trying to figure out some areas. We don't have a lot of landmarks to determine what area of town we are in now.
And we should mention that tonight at 10, Rob Vogel and Chris Regenbald, two reporter and photographer for our station, were out on a boat today and went through a little closer ground level view of some of these neighborhoods, and we'll show you that video tonight at 10 for those of you who will be with us. Again,
at about 7 o'clock, some of our viewers in western North Dakota from Bismarck and Minot may be losing our signal here. We will try to, we will be bringing continuous coverage, though we'll be running a little longer than 7 o'clock tonight. And again, I believe we're looking at South Grand Forks. The flooding widespread, as you can see. This is near the Belmont area, Belmont Road area.
Okay, I'm assuming that's coming back across. Is that coming back across the river, or is there just that much water there?
Our director, trying to remain lighthearted here, says it looks a lot more like Lake Michigan.
Sometimes it just... don't know what to say about it. I mean, we saw a pretty good flood last year come through this area. Oh wait, maybe last year's was 48.1, and the record was a little higher. I may have misspoke on that one. No, last year was 45 something, and the record's 48.1, and we thought that was a pretty unbelievable scene, but this goes far beyond it.
I wonder if this is along South 32nd Avenue South and continues on. I'm not sure, though. That I'm not sure what that is. I hope it's that's a mobile home. That's yeah, it's a trailer. Somebody's trailer. I don't know if the river washed it away that far, but
obviously very hard right now to figure out what we're looking at. I mean, we believe we're somewhere south of the city. Assuming.
We could be heading toward. Yeah, I would say south, but.
Yeah, we might even be moving away from the city at this point. Look how far that water stretches. I saw a picture from one of our feeds today. I don't know if we'll see the same shot, but if they looked north from the city and panned up into the distance, and I hope some of our people up north saw that so they know what to prepare for, because there is an unbelievable wide path of water working its way north. Okay, we must have been coming up back
Must
around.
be circling back up, yes.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to get our bearings. Obviously, for those of you who are evacuees and your house might be in this neighborhood, you will probably know immediately that that's your neighborhood.
It's so widespread. There
Perhaps
appears to be a school there. I'm not positive there.
all of us, our people in the back, are trying to figure out exactly what we're looking at as well. Again, we did not shoot this particular video. That might have helped give us an idea of what we were looking at. But we are seeing this for the first time as you are seeing it. We just got this in from the coverage area from our pool coverage. Okay, now we'll probably get a better idea as we... I mean, roofs, some of these, especially the one-story homes, are almost covered over the top of the roof. It makes me wonder if it's not East Grand Forks, but...
I wonder if it is. I wonder if that's Sacred Heart right there in the background.
Yeah, we're coming back up.
No, yes, that's right. This is
Okay.
East Grand Forks. This is the downtown area of East Grand Forks right here.
That was the mall that sits just off of the roadway, or just off the bridge. You didn't see the bridge. It was to the bottom of our picture, but now we're heading north. This is looking back into East Grand Forks from the North Dakota side. The water spreads out.
And that's the Kennedy Bridge there. Again, the approaches to the bridge are flooded, but the bridge itself is still okay.
Okay, now we're working back around and seeing the north part of Grand Forks. As the helicopter turns back to the east, and looks like it may head back south again. As some of these neighborhoods, you can, at least some of these, you see a full there. It's surrounded by water, unlike some of those in, there's a Humvee moving
National
through,
Guard vehicles.
That
That's
was
all
probably
we've
one of the
seen
bigger
coming through
ones,
here.
Yeah.
That's the Townhouse Motel, I believe. That's
Yeah,
our old
there's
studio there, the First
There's
Bank
where
building.
my wife works, right there. It looks like they actually have a little bit of dryness there. The architect's office and KCNN studios right there. KCNN had to leave their studios. I believe they're operating from over at UND in a temporary studio set up for them with the help of FEMA, wanting to keep them on the air as well as us to provide information.
And churches in the area. My house is somewhere around here.
Looks like this was shot somewhere around the noon hour or a little bit later. The sun looks to be directly overhead. By the way, it's reflecting off the water.
And there are some historic homes in this district as well.
Yeah,
Reeves
beautiful.
Drive,
Reeves Drive.
South 6th Street. There are some homes on the historic register in this area.
And we should mention some of the buildings downtown were also on the historic register. This is the area basically just to the south and maybe somewhat to the west of the downtown area.
I believe that's the Roosevelt School there. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Washington
maybe.
School.
It's being remodeled into apartments.
Roosevelt School, that would be right.
Is that right? Roosevelt's being remodeled?
I think so.
Yeah.
This is the downtown area, the triangular building, as
Looks like
we
they're
saw
working,
earlier, the police department, the courthouse to your right.
Water treatment plant is in this area too, which is underwater and means we are out of water. We were going to somewhat pass on some of our own experiences here. We have obviously been out of water at the studio, and if we don't exactly look as pretty as anchors should look, this isn't glamorous TV. I didn't even put my jacket on tonight. I decided I just didn't feel up to it. I'm surprised. That's the first time I put a tie on today, or in the last 4 days.
This is the most I've dressed up in the last. I was getting a hard time this morning. Some of the shots of downtown.
It's now 80 to 90% underwater, and the great majority of its 50,000 residents have been forced to evacuate. Robert Gers. At least 3,500 people have spent some time here. That's 1 out of every 14 people who live in Grand Forks. Many people, like just last week, are now empty.
Just a few days ago, this business, the Valley Convenience Center, was a thriving enterprise. People were driving in to buy gas, get car washes, and purchase food. Now it's shut down, still another business victim of this flood. Right next door, another business with the sadly appropriate name Water World, the water amusement park. The business's owners never dreamed they'd see water like this.
Authorities warn that people who live along the Red River to the north, which is downstream, have to take strong precautions now.
A lot of water.
Gary Tuckman, CNN, Grand Dakota.
budget perhaps for yourself best